Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there osia dem yopo.
Before the election, we were told, and even after the election, the president has met the Chief Justice, Attorney General, Auditor General, etc., and they've come out with an information that there's going to be a special court. We remember before election, there was a promise of tribunals where this thing will be done. We are aware, we have been in this country when NPP came into power under President Kufuor, and they set up fast-track courts, and people were sentenced, etc. So,
before the day began,
come into place. If we don't resource the judiciary so that they can work beyond the normal time they are working today. In fact, why shouldn't we apply 24-hour economy to the judiciary? Why should we always go to court during the working hour? The judiciary can have time to listen to our cases after 6 p.m. This will all fast-track the hearing of the cases. And if we can put in additional courts like the special courts and get the people recruited to do that, I am sure the Chief Justice meant well when he told us he was going to do it. But many times, the resources to do it is a problem. So if we can do all these things, then it will move faster.
So the information is that these courts have been set up. These the special courts.
Are they operational? How many cases
are from Lamati people says they are.
How many cases? How many cases have gone there?
No, how many cases have gone there so far? You're aware?
Okay, no, that one I'm not aware.
Thank you. So that's not what we are looking for. Not empty shells. We want a system which is working.
No, it's okay. No, Mr. Nolo, end your point, please.
So the point I'm making is that it's because of those promises that gave us the hope that within a year or a shorter period, people will have been sentenced, or maybe convictions will have been obtained by then. And let me also be quick to say that I, for one, I was not only waiting only for the judicial system, because I know that the Auditor General has a major role to play. If these reports, especially the oral, majority or almost all, were given to the Auditor General, all the expenses that were deemed to be contrary to law could be disallowed. That is faster. And Clause 9 of Article 187 says it is the offended person, the person who feels offended by the disallowance, who should go to court. And if he doesn't go, then Section 17 of the Audit Service Act provides that after 60 days, the debt has matured. So all that the Attorney General will have done is to file a civil claim at the court to recover the money. I think we will have made some progress by now. And none of this will stop the prosecution. So if we are expressing frustration, this is the angle from which some of us are coming. We are not saying that we should go and push a judge to give judgment tomorrow morning. What we are saying is that the legal framework will continue to favor the criminals. Thank you.
Well, I see. And you point at the lawyers as well. That you said they've mastered the art of prolonging cases to delay to a point where there's a change in administration. Then there's no prosecution. Two of them are here.
Exactly. Yes, they are aware. And they,
it's true,
including you.
Yeah.
You know, some cases they are a bit more political than criminal. And so it is difficult for you to give judgment when a particular regime is in office. Right. They may not accept it. But that is the fact or the view or opinion I hold. So you see correct. That they keep deferring or adjourning the case till immediately there's a change in government. Then you hear that big English, nolle prosequa. And that is all. Is it English? I think it is a Latin word. Yeah. Yes, you hear that nolle prosequa and our money is gone.
Yes.
I see. But you agree.
I'm very glad that he points that one. So the filing of the nolle prosequa on the preceding cases. So, you know, he has been very fair, and I want to commend him. The filing of the nolle prosequa was the beginning of probably the misunderstanding some of us had in the prosecutions that we thought was politically tainted. And one of the things that I want to disabuse his mind of is the perception that we delay cases in order to make more money as lawyers.
You know the loopholes in the system, so you exploit it.
I don't agree to that because sometimes you make more money when you are very meticulous and you do it quicker. It depends on each case, actually. So it's not the case that lawyers frustrate the court system. Yes, it's a perception.
But there's this. Look, some of the cases, you know that, look, this case is bad. So you would delay. Look, please, let's not deny it. well,
not get more
but
money.
the thing is that you know that this case, if you don't delay, look, you are in for the slaughter. Let's not deny this.
Wait,
Sometimes.
He made a statement that
No,
to make more
you-
money. And I'm saying that
Oh
it
yes,
is not
but
necessarily
in that
the
case, you get the person out, so it's more money. Look,
he's
I
saying
can't
that
deny.
you
In
delay
every
and
profession,
make-
there are reasons.
He says you delay and make more money. And I'm
Yes.
saying that I don't think that is
Okay,
true.
that's your view.
Yeah, I'm going to say it.
You can make your money all right.
Thank you.
Without
That's
necessarily
your view. You say
It exists. It's there. It's there.
people delay the cases for different reasons, not to make money.
Oh, you can't rule it out. That's why it's not even logical. Look, we are human beings. How can we are just one lawyer?
So-
You won't know what every lawyer
So
does.
delaying, how much money do you get out of delaying?
Because you keep the person out of jail, so you make more money.
Okay.
Delaying doesn't get you out.
You are joking. Look, sir, let's not over talk. Look,
Gentlemen,
it's
all
there.
right,
It's
see-
there. Don't try it. Don't try it.
See-
It's
see-
a stock in trade. It's a trade secret.
I see.
It's somebody's trade secret. You are joking with,
Because
please.
the two of you served on the oral preparatory team, do you share that same sentiment about the pace of oral and the fact that 1 year on, some hold the view that, look, to the extent that you gave the indication in their view that there should have been prosecution by now?
Okay, so I should go first. Look, listen, straight answer. I don't, feel that oral is too slow. Straight. Be very honest with you. Maybe because I'm a lawyer. That's the problem. I don't feel the cases in court, I don't think those cases, oral is slow. But where I agree, and I'm coming to the law reforms, I agree with Mr. Demlevo on the law reforms, 130%, right? Yeah, because, but let me advance the point where I have a concern. You see, where I have the concern is that I think the hands are few. We need more hands on deck so that we will roll out more cases. Because the reason I think we need more hands is that, so I look at the state attorneys, the ones helping the attorney general. It's the same old faces I'm seeing. In actual fact, a few have dropped out. We need more lawyers on board. That's why I say the very seasoned lawyers, the older ones, I think there should be a special program where they will be co-opted to go and help attorney general to move more cases forward. That's one, I agree. But not that the ones that are currently in court is the AG's fault or no. There are too many technicalities, and those are some of the ones Mr. Demlevo has pointed out, right? Because the burden is on the state, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot. But maybe if we had the reverse burden, it would help. It would make it easier. And we used to have that law, Kwame Nkrumah's time. That was the law we're using on corruption. So you hear Republic versus Nkunsa, and others. There are many cases where we use, that was a reverse burden we were using. So if we find you with this bottle and we think it's corruption, then we'll ask you to justify. So if you can't justify, straight. So you would have to show where you
guilty until proven innocent.
Exactly. And that's the law we're using. Scandinavia, Norway, also some countries, they are still using it. We jettisoned it and say, oh, no, we want to do that. The government should prove you are innocent until proven guilty, which is more difficult. Right? And there was a second point he raised, the internal audit agency people. Yes, it's true. I'm doing some work and I spoke with people in that sector, and they said that the current structure where the internal audit auditor is embedded in the institutions, so that these internal auditors' appointments, the promotions, right, is dependent on the head of the institution. Things like development, maybe he needs to career progression, he wants to travel out for further studies, etc. The head of the institution has to approve, etc. So it compromises them. So let's take them out. So there was a bill, the NPP had a bill, but because of changing government, maybe I don't know if Mr. Fusukwachi has what do you call it, some visibility on it. But there was a bill. I remember Dr. Drew Osai, the former head of the agency, was pushing. They were trying to get a bill passed, but now we don't know where it is. So perhaps government should look at it and pass that new bill to make the internal auditors more independent. Take them out of the institution. Take them out of the institution. Let them be independent. Because this current structure, who born dog? The man wants promotion, and at the same time, he wants to flag things that a chief executive is doing wrongly. No, the two don't work together. He's thinking of his wife and family first. So he would rather help the chief executive to steal than to stand straight, stand tall, and then he doesn't get promoted, or he will even be transferred to some very deserted parts of this country, Siberia. If you hear the word Siberia, they take you to a place where nobody, forgotten lands.
So you agree with anybody who says oral is dead?
I disagree, strongly disagree.
Why is that?
Oh, there are at least 7 cases in court. So let's go over.
Under-delivered.
No, it hasn't under-delivered. No. You see, but I've said that to speed up, we still have 3 years. To speed up, yes. We will say under-delivered and at the end. So it looks like we want to run ahead of ourselves, but I can see that at the current rate, to avoid under-delivery, let's ramp up the numbers, more prosecutors, more investigators. So strongly, as for that one, I can see, and this is not the first time I'm saying it, that the Attorney General will need more hands. That one, he can't deny it. Because you see, the Attorney General is one person. He has a good deputy, Sremsai, but those are 2 individuals. We will go to court all the time, right? So the experience of it, these are 2. No matter the number of assistants you have, etc., still, the oral cases are many. They are above 2,000, but we also realize that not all of them are prosecutable immediately. We need more investigators. Yes, we need more investigators. Not all those cases can be. Sorry?
Because the report from the presidency says 36 cases.
You're talking about 30,
no, he means a report, what we submitted to the president. The cases were about 2,500, but not all had enough meat. A lot of them didn't have.
The ones that have meat, of course.
The ones that had meat, I think about 200.
In the report you submitted, let me read it to you. I have it here.
When
I get my turn. No problem.
Yeah. Okay. So what is very clear is that we will need more numbers to avoid under-delivery. But as to whether ORA is under-delivery, for now, we can't say so, no, to be very honest. Oh, I'll be the first to say it, because, I mean, why? Why would I be shy to say it? Because if we don't say the truth, we will not make progress. Right now, it's too early to say ORA will under-deliver. And let's be very, very clear. Please, that statement that has been attributed, that ORA said we would recover 21 billion, please, that's not what Okujeto said. He said, if. You see, it's a conditional clause. He said, if we can prosecute and deal with everything, if. So it's a conditional clause. He didn't say we will definitely get those out. Look at this. He says, if. And it's clear that for those over 2,000 cases, you are now going to investigate. Remember that on the committee, we were not investigating. We're just receiving complaints. So receive the complaints, compile them, and most critically, see, sometimes people forget. I keep saying that the president's setting up of the oral thing is a master stroke, because you needed to keep the hope alive. You see, we are just booted at the NPP for all the shenanigans, the bad governance they were engaged in.
The oral came before booting them out.
Sorry?
The oral came before.
Yeah, it was a promise. So, yes, it was a promise that there would be oral. So the moment NPP were booted out and people kept clamoring, baying for the blood of the NPP people that, yes, this bad governance, get them in jail.
To be clear, the oral was set up before the elections, isn't it?
No, after the election, but before, yeah, you are close. Before the president was sworn in.
The promise.
Yes.
Before the president.
But the
And the
committee
promise
was before swearing.
Yes, the committee was set on the 18th of December.
Okay.
18th of December, just a few
Mr.
weeks.
Nomolowo, I wanted to make a quick intervention. He has to leave us.
Okay.
Mr. Nomolowo, quick, I saw your hand up. Quick.
Yes, I want to say to Mr. Honorable Abiyakubi that if what I said about making money out of the delay is not correct, I agree. I'll take it back. But the truth is that at least it favors...
I supported you. It happens. I'm a practitioner, and I'm saying I've seen it.
Let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
No. I've supported it.
That is what you do. That is yours. But my practice...
it is true that we know of cases that have delayed over maybe 5-6 years, and when they changed the government came, their cases were discontinued. That is what some of us can do.
Okay. Sorry. Let me hear you end your point quickly, please.
So the point I'm making is that not necessarily because lawyers make money, and if that is not true, I take it back. But the fact remains that we are aware of a lot of these corruption-related cases that have traveled more than 4 years, 5 years, and when there are changes in government, they are discontinued, and that is what we must prevent.
I see. You put, thank you so much. Thank you. And I kept referencing that, my friend, about the verdict.
Every year, we share Public Accounts Committee and Auditor General's report. Every year, we have free NPP. Sikaya Isha Musa, one fact my papa, and fact contract here, one fact my papa, I need to say, Abai Sikaya, the man went to me and Sheso, Sikaya, and this is the billions of cities, billions. Now, Public Accounts Committee, we all went to one. Now, there was a report, a core ministry. Now, ministry don't take action on recommendation of Public Accounts Committee item. And so, maybe, so I should share the OCS. If it's a ministry now, sir, assembly here, you are my second. On one, now the recommendation of the command say, on Shannon, you will be. It's a MPP, a good group by Rana, Yakata Sona, Asemnasa. It's yes, you be a special court, Chief Justice be a special court for Auditor General's report. It's the Auditor General's report on HSA when you are basic. There was special court I no more assembling them. Now, as trivia was here, Yadamau. Yanasa, a because any baby are basic now we are COVID audit. Sika and I say, if so COVID. Yeah, a fact of it, 60%.
Regime change, and this is what we expect. You continue to do the wrong things, then we will prosecute you and want to retrieve 100%. Once we have given a holiday, let the holiday also have limits, and let it also be omnibus for everybody. So everybody who has taken government money between now and say end of June, bring 60% and go and negotiate. Yeah. I think that would be a good start. Beyond June ending, whoever has state money, bring 100%.
If there is the chance to recover all 100%, why then do you want us to start from 60%?
No, I'm talking about when the Attorney General started.
Yes.
In fact, he started with a standard. And I'm suggesting that if the standard has been taken, and at the time that he started, I think we critically needed money into government chest. Yeah. So it was good that he tried to retrieve some of the monies. But it cannot continue into the future. So I'm saying that let this holiday be
an amnesty period.
Have an end. Yeah. So that everybody, even if they haven't called you, but you know that you are likely to be called. Yeah. You know that you have taken government money. You yourself, volunteer and come to the Attorney General and say, yes, this money is with me. I'm prepared to come under this cover, and I'm paying this 60%. Because I know there's a deadline. Beyond the deadline, and let us publish it. So beyond the deadline, if you are caught of having government money, then the threshold is 100%, and then you have to come and pay. Indeed, I supported him at the time when people didn't understand him, but it must end at some point in time. Yeah. And it also must be omnibus for everybody, whoever has government
definitely
money.
He said it.
Yes.
It's everybody.
Come and negotiate and pay that amount, the rate, and then we'll move on. I congratulate him this morning.
I see, but look, people, in this same audit, what we told is that some 89.4 million was said to have been paid to 5 banks, classified as 1D, 1F interest payment. Yeah. But all these 5 banks, when they were contacted, said, look, we don't have any records of such amounts being paid to them. Quite concerning, to say the least, is it not?
Yes, but I'm not surprised.
Why?
Not surprised because that's been our stock in trade. You know, this thing didn't start today. I'm sure you have this in Domlevo on. You hear Auditor General, previous Auditor General say it. And that's how come I'm mad that Johnson Ekwuamwesi is still in office.
Why?
I mean, come on, that shows that they were doing a poor job. You see, we've always been saying that, look, Ekwuamwesi is not up to this job.
He's not. General?
Or the Auditor General.
Who conducted this audit?
No, they added the private sector people.
Yeah,
These things, look.
And,
yes. They added private sector people because he sat in there, he didn't see or colluded. That's what we say.
How do you even make that conclusion?
Very good. You see the part that is the bank transfer advice. Bank transfer advice, yes. That one means that that's at the last stage with the governor for them to be paid. And that would have passed through the Auditor General's office. This one. This one, yes.
Almost 18.3 billion?
Yes. The controller people. After controller, etc., goes to the, what do you call it, the Bank of Ghana, etc. So all this while, what were they doing? All this while.
So you'll be questioning elements within the Auditor General's department,
yeah.
And not just the person who is leading that.
Good.
Has he been the one to...
Good. So now let's come. So for it to have gone through the whole value chain, you know this one, let's understand the value chain. You know this 18, it goes through many steps, even sometimes to the regional and district levels. It
cannot be countenance in any way, shape, or form. But you say you want us to personalize
the
stealing.
First and foremost, let's identify the offense. It is stealing, not corruption. And then let's look at the elements of that charge, of that crime, and prosecute people according to the elements. And again, let us find the culprits. Kick out politics entirely. These are acts of persons or either corporate persons or normal persons.
Government officials.
Government officials. If they are found to be wrong, they are found to have done the illegal acts, let us see them as people facing the law and let the law take its course. At the end of the day, when they are convicted, let us see them punished. And then let's try to reform our system. But that brings me into these areas. When you put people before a trial, chances are that people who would have committed crimes would want to elect to be prosecution witnesses and run away from the crimes. And that is dangerous.
Don't go ahead of me on that one. Okay. You see, but if you're talking about this being limited to just identifying the people or the companies and prosecuting them, some would also argue that it happened within a particular period as well. You would have to be raising questions as to what may have aided some of these acts of mobilization, advanced mobilization being paid to certain people, contractors, and they not even going to do what they are paid.
So what I'm saying is that find those people,
money for.
Find those people and prosecute them. Why did you take the money? Why did you not do what was expected of you? And by all means, answer the questions yourself. Take advantage of the legal system. You are entitled to legal counsel and all that. Bring your lawyer, come to court, and then let's prosecute you. And let it be your action, not the action predicated on any other person. And let not politics come in at all. And when we are able to retrieve our monies and engage, we can also bring civil action. Under Article 41 of the Constitution, once the Attorney General Auditor General identifies wrongdoing, malfeasance here and there, we can also come to civil court. And I want to encourage as many lawyers as possible to also pick some of these cases and come to civil court just to retrieve the amount lost to the state and let the criminal prosecution also continue for you to be punished for your criminal mind. There are two things. You have a criminal mind, you did that. You have stolen our money, we want it back. So let these two concurrent actions continue. and then we can retrieve as much as possible, and people can punish for wrongdoing at the same time. Simultaneously, we can do that. So that's my prescription.
But you don't also see internal collusion in this instance.
Well, prosecution
because
will
some of these things cannot be done without some level of collaboration with persons.
When you are prosecuting
within these ministries,
you are likely to find the people who would have abetted the crime, and they also accused persons. Bring them in and let them come and also face the law. What I want us not to do is to say that it happened when Apiakubi was chairman of so and so committee, and therefore he influenced. No, Apiakubi knew the money was there, didn't take. Then you, Kwesi Mensah, you saw also the money was there, and you took. So Kwesi Mensah, come and face the charges, and don't relate it to Apiakubi in any way, and let Kwesi Mensah come and defend himself. If we do that, then. And I'd like to also congratulate Dr. Ayini. In the course of his investigations, he set some standard. At the time, people didn't agree with him that at least to be able to recover part of the loss to the state, let people pay 60% or so. I agreed with him because it is not.
Agreed with that?
Yes, because at least that was bringing some money back into the government chest. But sometimes you prosecute somebody, and at the end of the prosecution, he is convicted, you send him to jail, and we still have to take care of him. So he continues to enjoy at the expense of the state. So if they bring back 60%, it's a good start. But I should not continue. Let us also set a threshold in terms of time and say between now and this time, if you have taken public funds, bring the 60%, and let us abort the prosecution. But beyond that, the standard is that if you knowing that this is the
National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaji, West Blue Judgment Debt, it involves Kenoforiata, who, as I speak, is a fugitive, has fled the jurisdiction. And then there's a 13th African Games. I could go on and on and on and on. So anybody who comes to take, for instance, they've been called, interrogated, and these are cases on which dockets have been prepared. And so the Attorney General has to look through it and then determine a date that is suitable to go to court. If you go to Yoko, there are some of the cases that were not part of oral. You can only discover them when you come into government, like the National Signals Bureau thing. It was never an oral. In fact, there were many people who didn't even know Mr. Dubois was even a public official. But when we came to power and we got wind of it, we looked into it. Indeed, he was arrested in March 2025. By April, he was in court. The Attorney General has said that he will call 5 witnesses. Three of them are done. He's left with 2. So that they can conclude their case, and then Mr. Dubois will open their case. That is the normal judicial process. My brother, Honorable Apiakubi, is here. He is a lawyer for Wuntumi, and he will testify that in the case of Wuntumi, actually, I think they've done, you are supposed to do a submission of no case or something. If I'm not mistaken. All the state's witnesses have testified. So the state has made its case. The onus is now on them to either contest the state case through a submission of no case. Which is normal. In the 214 case, he made a submission of no case. So it is normal judicial procedure. The national service case, sorry, that one too, I told you that they are doing case management. It's part of the Baffoe-Bonnie case. There are at least 3 people who are in court over it. Abdul Hanan and his wife, and then I think another individual. What do you call it? So the Attorney General has gone step by step to ensure that this is done. Again, in terms of recovery, when the president said Yoko had recovered 600 million Ghana cedis, there were those who said, we should publish the list. I clarified that apart from oral, Yoko is an established organization that deals with regular crime, money laundering, tax evasion, carjacking, cross-border crime, and all that. So in their normal routine course of work, they've done 642 million Ghana cedis recovery. In 2024, they did 186 million recovery. So this one actually is an improvement on that. But in terms of oral, the only time, again, there are 2 lawyers here who will bear me out. The only time you can recover is when the person has been convicted. What you can do in the interim is that you freeze the assets to protect it, so that in the event that in the course of the trial, they don't divert it and move it outside of the jurisdiction. Indeed,
that is why I asked you that question, whether you have the power to convict. And I'm saying
the court, yes, the court, when the court convicts.
Your mandate
It's prosecution. That's all. And that is what we are doing.
Yes.
But I'm telling you what steps have been. Every case that has been investigated or is in court, they have taken steps to ring fence the assets. Indeed, there have been instances where some of those whose assets have been frozen have contested. They've said that the assets don't belong to them, and therefore the state cannot purport. They are allowed to do so. It's part of the judicial process. Everybody accused must be given sufficient opportunity to defend themselves. In the case of lawyer P. Akubi's client, he would tell you his assets have been frozen.
How much of his assets?
Indeed, I regret to have to. Sorry about it, but
no, the matter is still sub judice. The matter is still sub judice.
Fine.
No, you are allowed to mention those facts.
So he has. Look, we discovered for instance.
In court.
No. It's not about.
Please go ahead.
I'm not. Let me also make it clear. I'm not pronouncing.
No, I'm not saying.
I'm not pronouncing on the substantive piece. I'm only telling you the facts. I'm telling you the action that the state has taken. So, for instance, on the 8th of January, 2025. It was found that about 50 million Ghana cedis have been paid him from Cōṛṛupt.
Yeah.
Cōṛṛupt for some work that he said to have done. He moved 30 million of that to purchase some securities. In other words, bonds. I think treasury bills. And then about 23 million to purchase or set up an insurance company.
Amen.
When was this?
Oh, this was in January, February.
Last year.
Yes. So all these assets have been frozen as I speak. Indeed, again, look, even his mobile money account has been frozen.
Chairman won't
yes.
mobile money account.
Even his mobile money account has been frozen. Unless he sets up another one or use another conduit, he cannot use mobile money, receive or send. So that is the extent to which the state has gone to ring fence these assets, pending the determination of the case. How can anybody see this and say Oral has died? The other issue too is that it is important to do thorough investigations. The reason being that it costs money to prosecute people. There may be cases where you suspect strongly that wrongdoing has occurred, but you may not find the evidence. Yeah. In that case, you don't go at all. You suspect strongly that there must be some wrongdoing, but either the evidence has been so well concealed, or that the information available is sketchy and scanty, so you can't go to court with it. In that case, even if you have that suspicion, you cannot go because it costs money, it costs time to prosecute people. It is state resources that are used to do the prosecution. So if you are not absolutely certain, you cannot go there and waste anybody's time. So it is not fair to say that Oral has not died. And if those who are most affected by Oral, NPP appointees, are saying that it has died, you must understand the political context within they are saying so. So I implore all Ghanaians to support the efforts to sanitize the system by holding people who are believed to have offended the state through corruption to account. And then more importantly, putting the system going forward to ensure that this sort of thing does not recur. That for me is where the conversation should be going. But let's talk about 21. So if 21 billion has not recovered, has not been recovered, then all aspects. That is not
because you have an expectation of Oral.
Sure.
And yet you are having to deal with the weaknesses in the judicial system.
You see, again, there are two strands. You see, there are two strands. We must be careful. You see, we must be careful not to allow governments to overreach. So that interfere in the judiciary. Look, one of the criticisms that we leveled against the NPP was that they were interfering with the judiciary. And I'm sure Professor Adman Baffoe-Bonnie has had occasion as an analyst, a respected analyst, to comment on these matters many, many times because the media would reach him for comment. We have said that. I personally have gone on public record to criticize judicial performance and accuse the NPP of tinkering with the judiciary for some outcomes. We cannot come to power.
Well, you've done same.
No. Listen, even the judiciary are not beyond reproach. They are not beyond accountability. So if it is found that the Chief Justice has done things that offend the law and the process is undertaken through constitutional... I beg your pardon. Please. When you sack Charlotte say nobody has you what things. So you cannot come here and purport. You cannot mount the moral high ground. You cannot mount the moral high ground. Charlotte say was a constitutionally... Charlotte say was the head of a constitutional body. They were an independent body. Yet you remove her.
Even the substantive cases are not even of the same standard.
Why does it have to be of the same standard? What are you talking about? What are you also talking about? You have the right.
Transfer somebody.
I beg your pardon. No. I'm saying that.
I travel over 100,000 of our money.
Let me make a point. I'm saying that you, Kofi, and
you, Kofi, and 100,000 a year
cannot be the determinants of what should constitute somebody's removal. You remove Cōṛṛupt. We disagreed vehemently. People even went to court, yet you removed her. So if the Chief Justice of Ghana is deemed to have offended the law and the Constitution is followed to remove her, it is in order. That does not mean that you have tinkered with the judiciary. When you remove Cōṛṛupt, you did tinker with the Electoral Commission. Is that what you did? So the mere removal of the head does not mean that the judiciary is no longer independent. Indeed, since the new Chief Justice was installed, has the NDC not lost major cases in court? Under you, I beg your pardon. In your time, even the mere announcement of a panel told everybody how the case will go. Look, let me give you a typical example. Let me give you a typical example. You see, by stroke of a pen of the Attorney General writing an application to the court, the panel can be changed. We were told, for instance, there was an instance in this country where a judge held Kennedy Aponyi in contempt for something that he said. Okay? Kennedy Aponyi went to complain that the judge is the one against whom he made the statements. And therefore, if he appeared before him, there was likelihood of bias. The judge was changed, was he not?
Yeah.
Yet when the former Supreme Court judge, Honyonuga, if I'm not mistaken, went to make politically motivated statements in the Volta region, and openly complained, he was still made to sit on the case until he went on retirement. The judge who came and said that he was going to start the case anew, within a month he was transferred. You understand the point I'm making? So the NPP cannot be lecturing anybody. No problem. But I did that to straighten the record. That their pension, I beg your pardon. No problem. But the point I'm actually defending the judiciary here. I am saying that yes, you are the ones who think that what do you call it? You determine for us what is right, what is wrong. I'm saying that we won't have any of it. The point is this: the judiciary.
There was a personal contribution to the discussion.
So I've made no. The point I'm making is that we cannot say that because we are unhappy about the way the judiciary operates, we should tinker with it.
I think that
it is an independent institution. That is why when the president had concerns about the slow pace of action on Auditor General's report, what he did was to invite the Chief Justice, the Auditor General, the Attorney General to a meeting to discuss what can be done to hasten the process. Then the Chief Justice said that they can do ABC. Indeed, if I'm not mistaken, he has done that. He has set up a special court to try Galamsey cases and all that. So that is how you do it. But government cannot on its own insist that we don't like the approach of the judiciary. So we have sacked every judge, or we have abolished courts, or we have introduced new courts. That cannot be done. But oral can never be said to have died, simply because those against whom it was set up are saying that it has died. They are not the ones who determine it. Let the facts speak. Again, people are even saying that after 1 year there's no prosecution.
Yes.
When the facts show that is not the case, there is prosecution, and more prosecutions are going to follow. Yes. No, but conviction is determined by the courts.
Yes.
And as Honorable Apiakubi has been at pains to say all morning, our remit ends with prosecution. That is what we have done. It is for the court to determine whether the case we have made can master scrutiny, or that the defenses provided by the accused are sufficient to free them.
There's a question in this regard that if the right of conviction ends with the court, then why were some persons described as candidates for jail?
Why?
By some persons.
Alfred, would it be the first time? Let me tell you something. Alfred, what you mean? An Auditor General did a report, and then I think it was Kennedy Aponyi who found that his name had been mentioned in respect of some judgmental payments. The NPP composed songs. Okay, they started for 1.5 years every day. After Oyome was the subject of discussion until Oyome. They did not compose songs. Why? Would it be the first time that politicians have been accused?
Okay, no.
Would it be the first time in our history that politicians have been accused of corruption and they have been dragged?
No.
Why? President Mahama, did the NPP not claim that he had built hotels in Dubai? He did not call him names in respect of Airbus. What were the outcomes of those matters? So you see, let the NPP not go about saying that people have said that people are candidates. It is not the first time. But you see, you must separate political claims by political operatives, from the word of the leader, from the word of those who actually have responsibility to undertake this matter, this activity. It is the Attorney General. What has the Attorney General said? Sometimes when the Attorney General gives briefings, okay? Sometimes when the Attorney General, sometimes when the Attorney General gives briefings, they say that the Attorney General has convicted people.
Okay.
But we know that the Attorney General doesn't convict people.
Right.
You understand the point I'm making? So the claim that oral has died cannot stand scrutiny.
It's just a propaganda tool that was deployed for you to win this election.
I will start by dismissing that propaganda from Kofi and his folks. You see, that whole propaganda is hinged on that. Let me start by saying that no NPP person will ever support oral.
But he says he's
No. I'm saying that no NPP person will ever support oral, maybe with the exception of a few. So Kofi and his hardcore NPP propagandists will do everything in this world to discredit oral because there's a political motive for it. But there are more reasonable elements in society who look forward to improvements in the way that public finances are managed, who retain hope that through such activity, first of all, we'll be able to punish those responsible and then put in place measures to avoid their recurrence. That is where the conversation should be focusing. But that's what the propaganda Kofi and Co are showing. To begin with, nobody had said that we were going to recover 21 billion. We speak about the value of the cases. In other words, the projects for which the corruption allegations have arisen total this amount. So let me give you an example. National Service, when we started, we thought the amount involved was around 600 million cedis. Then the Auditor General did an audit and found that up to 2 billion Ghana cedis, which in today's terms is $2 billion, had been embezzled through the National Service scheme. However, if you hold the people, you are unlikely to get 2 billion because they may have squandered the money or done other things that make it impossible for you to get as a country. So it is what you get from them that you recover and give to the state. So that propaganda.
So
these are the projects involved.
This is what the oral preparatory
absolutely.
used during the and we all concede, right? This is a public document.
So take the Bank of Ghana, for example. Alfred, take the Bank of Ghana, for example.
Cost of financial scandals listed.
Yes.
It's an estimate.
So I'm on the floor, Kofi. I kept
no problem.
You see, Alfred,
when
so
you
for
are
instance,
done,
the Bank of Ghana building, I've recently found out that it actually cost $400 million.
$400 million?
Exactly.
That's lower than what is.
Yes, I've recently discovered that it actually cost $400 million, not the $250 million we had initially thought.
The new Bank of Ghana.
Absolutely. So the building is there. How are you ever going to hold anybody and get $400 million when the building has been put up and it's a state property? So if you were ever to go into it and we're going to do recovery, you were only going to get a part of it. Is it realistic today that you will get $2 billion from Beauty Owari or Mr. SLC? So we need to cut out the propaganda and focus on facts. Alfred, what had happened was this. There were unprecedented levels of corruption. In fact, you in the media every day fed us with corruption scandals to a point where people even became fed up. So there was a need to do something about this sort of corruption and rot. So the NDC, as an alternative to the government that was supervising the rot, said that if we ever got opportunity to run the country again, we were going to implement Operation Recover All Routes, which could only have meant that we will use the legal process to hold those responsible accountable. And then once we have succeeded in holding them accountable, recover what it is that they are alleged to have stolen. That is what it was about. In opposition, there was nothing we could do until we got power. So President Mahama wins elections, and then on 18 December, that is in the period that he was waiting to formally be sworn in as president, he sets up the Oral Committee to gather as much information as they can get. The Oral Committee itself didn't have any power or locus to prosecute anybody. Yes. And that was never what was said about their work. Indeed, I issued a statement. My exact words were that they were a preparatory committee. So we put together people we believed had capacity to help with it. When they started their work, he will tell you, they got over 2,000 allegations against people. They sifted through and saw that around 280 of them had some basis.
Out of the 2,000?
Out of the 2,000. Because it's not everything that people come to tell you that you run it, because you would run yourself around, because really, there will be no substance to it. So they brought 280 cases in a report. That report, you cannot take to court to secure any conviction. Yeah. You needed to get accredited state agencies close with the power and capacity to do investigations and then put together dockets to give to the Attorney General, who will review and satisfy himself that indeed there is basis to prosecute, and then he will proceed. So the claim that oral is dead is blatantly false. It is NPP propaganda intended to discredit an exercise that will expose wrongdoing under them. That is all. Regrettably, there are elements in the NDC too who have taken the bait.
No, but are you saying that there's really no basis for even persons within the NDC?
Yeah, but so I'm going to demonstrate to you that there's no basis for it. Listen, I'm going to demonstrate to you. I'm going to demonstrate to you. Listen, no, I'm going to demonstrate to you that there's no basis. I understand the desire to have speedy prosecutions because of the extent of the rot. Indeed, if you are an NPP person and you are citing an NDC person's expression of frustration as reason why you are happy, you are actually indicting yourself. You are saying that people are impatient for you to be gold for corruption. That's what that you are saying. And it is not a flattering position to be in. You are admitting that you were corrupt, except that nothing has been done to you yet. But the point I wish to make is that what could oral do? It was always going to be premised on the rule of law. And I was here 2 weeks ago and I told you that nowhere in the oral promise did we ever promise to use extrajudicial means. We can only use the judicial process.
Domelo, reference the certain pace at which
of course, so I'm coming to explain that
oral should have
I'm coming to explain it. You can only work with what you have. We for decades we have all lamented the slow pace of cases in court. It is a decades old.
And the tool in the game is evidence.
Absolutely, and the decades old is a decades old criticism leveled at the judiciary of Ghana. It's nothing new. So that criticism itself is not an indictment on oral. But you see, the government of Ghana cannot come and tinker with the judiciary for the sole purpose of achieving a political end. The most we can do is to use the law to see if we can carry out some reforms to make the process a bit more satisfactory than before. So indeed, I have sat in cabinet. A bill to reintroduce the tribunals has been approved by cabinet. It should be in parliament by now. Once it is approved, the tribunals will be brought back.
And that will ensure some
to, among other things, deal with some of these matters and matters involving galamsey and other offenses so that we can speed up a bit. But a slow judicial process is not the same as inefficiency on the part of government in implementing oral. So what has happened since oral came? The oral cases were spread amongst 3 agencies: the police CID, the NIB, and the Yoko.
Before we go on to that, but how do you answer the question? You knew about this slow judicial process, but yet made promises that were hinged on a certain pace at which.
No, but who spoke about pace? First of all, who said, for instance, that we will jail everybody under 1 year? Who said that? If you can give me that, we will move on. So what is the basis for saying that if after 1 year, everybody...
You have the power to jail people.
No, it's just by word of expression. What I'm saying is that, so if after 1 year, as we have now, everybody has not been put in jail, how do you say that oral has failed? Did we ever say that in 1 year we jail everybody? Did we ever say that we jail everybody in 1 week or even in 10 years?
No,
you understand me? If you let me land, you understand the point I'm making? So it's important to dismiss propaganda and separate it from facts. So what have the agencies been up to? NIB, for instance, they have looked into 27 cases. They have produced dockets. In other words, they have invited people, questioned them, cautioned them, and built a docket and presented same to the Attorney General for action. Yoko, they have over 40 such cases. In the case of NIB, over 43 people have been affected, including Kweku Ajimamenu, who only this week was all over the place claiming that nobody had touched him.
But what happened to him?
Meanwhile, he had been brought in, he had been questioned, he had been cautioned.
When did this happen?
Last year.
Caution on what?
When you are cautioned, it simply means that they take your statement, indicating that you have been brought under a certain
question and caution
on 2 cases. On 2 cases, the Sputnik V vaccine case and then the Frontier case involving COVID-19 testing at the airport. That has happened. Of course, it is not in all cases that it is highlighted. There are instances where political party operatives mass up and they get lawyers to say it, so then it becomes public. But not all. In fact, I can give you a rundown. For instance, the National Service Authority case, it involves gift to Awari Mensah, and I don't do this with satisfaction. No, it is necessary. I don't do this to embarrass or humiliate anybody. But it is necessary to so that people stop. Exactly. So gift to Awari Mensah and OCSB, National Service Authority. Yoko finished it, gave the docket to the Attorney General. He has done it. He is in court. Indeed, I think last week or so, the court indicated that we're going to do case management. It is part of the process. And lawyer Pia Kubu and Martin People will bear me out. The Sputnik case, I've told you. Indeed, as I speak, 2 dockets are ready. And in the coming weeks, the attorney general will take him to court and charge him for these 2 cases. Again, the Accra SkyTrain project, it involves Solomon Asamoah, who was the CEO of